well, I think what I'm going to start taking off. I bought the special little bands that holds, that kind of holds the, what do you call this, header wrap in place. They're pretty well expensive. Well, at least I believe they're kind of well expensive. And all it is glorified zip ties, except they're made of steel. But what I had a bunch of hose clamps laying around, and I was like, well, why not just use a couple of them? Kind of cinches up where it meets together. Gotta love the impact driver, makes quick work, stuff like that. I'm gonna save these. I save little stuff like this. Not only does it come in handy, but since I'm gonna cut the original straps, I'm gonna need something to secure this back. Cause the very beginning of this exhaust, where it comes out of the head, and probably gonna say either part way up or to the bottom of the muffler, it actually does get pretty hot. Now the very top of this muffler, it actually stayed cool. It was good and bad. Now I kind of didn't like the exhaust the way I decided to do it. I should have went a whole different route. And see, this is all as it really is. You slip it through, pull it tight, and I believe you clamp it or something. I can't remember now. It's been a minute. But we're just going to remove that. And there's one more here. And actually, underneath all this, it's probably going to be, I'm going to say there's probably going to be at least another couple of clamps. Trying to get this without tearing up the header wrap. I don't know, I think I grabbed the crappy cutters, and I think I did. I'm just going to just twist it loose. There we go. Time to buy or grab the better set of cutters. But anyway, there's just two of them there. Now the long boring part, which is going to be an unroll this. Now there was, I want to say, if memory serves me right, it's been a while now since I put this together. I think there was two sets. I think I came all the way up with one. I'm hoping this stuff is reusable. But it's at least a burn resistant, and that's what I like. I'm definitely going to need something, as you can see, this is going to go on forever. I definitely need something to contain the heat, and yeah, and I was right. There's actually several pieces. I had leftovers and whatnot, and I know this part down here, this has got at least 3 layers because this was the hottest part, and I'll probably end up doing the same. So I'm just going to try to reuse this, so I'm not going to call it scrap just yet. There's no point in boring y'all along. I just kind of wanted to get to this point. I guess let me keep finding the ends, unwrapping it, and I'll cut the camera on back here. Guys, what I've just been doing this off camera is I've took all the original piping and basically just kind of recutting it, gutting it, just trying to give it a reroute it. I had issue with the bolt here. There was I had to cut back the threads that were originally there. What I did is just kind of hold it in place, tack it. For an exhaust to breathe better, it should have more of a contour bend than that 90, but really I'm not going for super high performance. I'm just going to just want the engine to breathe and to try to control the exhaust gases and not make it so super loud. So I kind of went back just like I did the original exhaust. It also had a 90. It just now has a shorter pipe coming off the head. So it comes out, it barely clears that bolt with about 1/4 of an inch, if that comes through. I had to clip these, go ahead and saw them off so I can get the piping in here. And if you notice, I've got the VW muffler in there. Took this little bracket off the backside, just zipped it off and re-welded it right there. Just did a quick weld job. So that way, with the body, it will sit approximately like right here. Gives me room to have the exhaust pipe coming out. Still have to do the final connection, which is going to be right here. And what I'll do is I'll oversize that hole, get my pipe to go in it, and then I stop to adjust the muffler. But what I got looking at is that I need this pipe to still be able to come apart, so I am going to have it where it bolts here with the gasket, so I can unbolt the muffler, if I need to take out, like after when it's time to stop mocking up everything, and actually go into final assembly and everything. So this will, the muffler can be undone right here. This pipe, I originally had everything just tacked together. This one will be able to unscrew, bring this piece out. Then that little one will just bolt to the side of the motor. It's kind of cheesy, but it creates an exhaust that I'm able to hopefully control the sound. So I still need to get a little extension right here. It's probably maybe 2-inch, 3-inch max. So I'll just get a little bit longer piece of pipe. I'd rather have it a little bit longer. I'll bevel my edges and go ahead and weld it together here to create my little extension. Then as I go, like if you notice, it clears right here. There's just a little bit. I want to have a little bit more room, but the muffler's still able to be moved if I have to. I can always change this bracket up, but for right now, just mocking it up. I think it looks kind of cool. You get a little tailpipe still coming out. So fabrication continues on this. Once I get the exhaust mocked up, then it's going to be just double checking everything. I still need to pull the motor out, drill the holes where the final mounting is going to go. Besides that, really it's just going to be the brakes and axle. Just still need to swap everything around on the axle. I haven't got a chance to do that. Kind of jump back to the exhaust. So I figured go ahead and do that. That's going to be the next thing. Got to definitely change the fluid out in that axle. So I think upon final assembly, that'll be the job on that. Well, the project continues. Well, I haven't had the camera on. It's been about a week or more. Now, the last couple of days I've been out here tinkering with this, trying to figure out how I'm going to finish up this exhaust. And if you notice, I have the VW the VW muffler that was once attached to a merged exhaust that would have connected to the motor. It's aftermarket. I was goofing around with it last couple days, like literally 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. This is what I kind of came up with. It looks like I tucked it off pretty well up under this little plate. I took this little bracket, was right back here. It came up and went this way. I ended up throwing it up on the bench, cutting it off and re-welding it right there, and it worked out perfect. Turn around, use 3 sheet metal screws to put it up there. So I got thinking, what else? Well, I was over here looking around, and it had the I guess this would have been chrome. Had the little exhaust. Didn't really like it. Kind of looked a little wimpy. But the main thing is, like right here, I have this. What was this? A resonator tip. So it's like back, I don't know, in the 80s, or no, actually it would have been the mid 90s. Everybody's cutting their mufflers out, running straight pipe to these little tips. They got little baffles set up inside, or a resonator, I believe, or something. Well, I've had this thing for like 12 years. I ended up finding it welded to a piece of pipe at the junkyard. I ended up buying it, and then it went to several projects. Never lasted long. Ended up deciding wanting to put it right here. And the reason I was wanting to do that is the body itself comes to right here. So the body kind of covering from right, like kind of like in this angle, then coming out this way, kind of covers. You won't really see what it's attached to. You just see this cool big old tip. Thought that would look kind of cool on there. Kind of add to the little hot rod theme. And the way I achieved it was, let me see, here's the tail half of it. You can kind of notice in there, hopefully you can see it, there's like a smaller pipe with a bunch of holes cut out. And what it is right here, kind of wrapped around it, is this, what is that stuff? It's almost like insulation. It's supposed to, I guess, help baffle the sound. This came off the last project this was on, was my trike project, powered by the same exact 420cc Predator engine. But basically all I did was ended up taking this piece of pipe, taking the Sawzall and just cutting a bunch of slits all the way around. Using my ball peen hammer, I opened it up, slipped it on, and I've got a decent tight fit. Since none of this back here will really be seen because of the body being on it. What I'm thinking is just I'm gonna take some flat stock, just lay it one here, one there, one on the bottom, and probably just welding it to both, just so the tip doesn't move. And I don't think it's going to be needing anything more than that, because this is real tight inside here. All the exhaust gases should flow and right out of the end. I mean, it's more decorative than anything. I figured trying to use up a lot of stuff I do have, and just throwing just trying to give it a little bit more of a custom touch. So I think that exhaust tip's going to definitely look nice on there. Definitely I need to finish that up. Also as well, since we're talking about the exhaust, ended up after I put this, I'm about 2 inches short. Where did I get the, oh, right here. I was in my toolbox, and I found this large piece of galvanized water pipe that I would use. Normally I would attach it to a ratchet of sorts if it's one of my junk ratchets. I've got a couple that are frozen up, so what I use it is a big old pry bar. Sometimes we'll have to use this on certain things to get it to break loose. So I figured I'm going to cut my little 2-inch out of there, 3-inch. Probably going to do 3 inches, make it a little longer. And the reason I'm going to do that is if you notice, got home today from work, happened to find a hole saw that was the exact diameter of the water pipe. The one thing I did notice, let me set y'all guys up on this tripod and I'll kind of give y'all a little demonstration. The one thing I did notice is when I mounted the bit in my drill press, had a little wobble to it. Didn't exactly, I decided not to fix it in the chuck, and the reason is by that little wobble, it allows the pipe to slip in there, as you see, but it gives me, let's see if you can kind of see that, kind of gives me a little ability to move my pipe in different directions, so I can have a little bit of adjustability. Then all I would have to do is tack weld this and set it where I need it, tack weld it, then I can take the exhaust off and fully weld it all the way around, and I'll have a permanent connection there. Kind of is cool, at least to give me a little advantage to play with. So I'm guessing next couple things I got to do is go ahead and get this pipe cut and tack it on, and I need to get this piece also cut as well. Go ahead and start cutting out the little shape. I think that's going to be the next step. Let's go ahead and get this thing cut out and get this pipe ready to go in. I got the new flange basically cut out. The only difference is I went ahead and made a smaller hole, but the principle is going to be the same. Really, this gasket is just to seal the two from allowing exhaust gases to bleed through. So now that I got this piece done, ended up recutting the piece, ended up needing, actually this is the size of what I actually needed. So really it's just going to be probably clamp this to the muffler, then I'll stick this little stubby piece in and somehow clamp it to the other side, and within a couple tack welds we'll have the exhaust on its way to being done. Ended up throwing the rear body on here. I kind of wanted to see how a lot of these ideas are already kind of going together, because I'm getting actually very close now to finish up the mocking up stage and actually finalizing some of this. Like, it's kind of cool to see this big old engine right here in the center where I always wanted it. It's right there. So far I have an area here and over there that I could turn into cubby spaces. I don't know, maybe some kind of toolbox if I want, or I could always just put a piece of wood in there. I'll have at least, it'll be an open area type, I don't know, it'll be an open area, it'll be some kind of storage. I mean, that's really right now what I got. Well, except one of these sides I got I got the little lawn and garden battery going in. So I'm thinking over there. It's my original thought. Or maybe put the battery on this side. No, I better put it on that side, because the starter and everything, where it hooks up, so it'd be short wires. The choke is something else I've been thinking about, and what I'm kind of looking at is the new throttle cable, or the throttle cable, will come around this side. It's going to loop around and hook to here. This will pinch it down, and the little wire, kind of like this deal here, will come through and connect to here. So that's how the throttle will hook up, just like it did before. But what I'm thinking is, looking at Pep Boys, maybe Pep Boys or O'Reilly's or one of those parts stores, they're gonna have push and pull choke cables. I can't imagine them being more than 20 bucks. Or I'll look for maybe a lawnmower. Lawnmower might be kind of cool if we can get the little push and pull handle. Push and pull. Maybe I'm thinking. Bring the cable from this existing wall, maybe right here in the center. Somehow hooking I guess it'd be the same kind of a speed adjustment. I did have a Poland, I believe. It actually had a push and pull cable for the choke, which was a first. But what I'm thinking, maybe the little lever that controls your throttle speed, maybe that'd be cool, set for a choke handle. Maybe putting that here, bringing the cable through the backside, coming around, going through this piece, having it pinch the cable right there. Then this could be lifted up. Let me see if I can get y'all in the shot. I apologize. But coming from here, going right up under this and connecting right here to this piece, and that way I could turn the choke on and off from the outside. I'll never have to open this to choke it. So I mean, that's an idea I'm contemplating. I normally try to pre-think a lot of stuff out, or at least put it in my head to be thought about, so when it's time to do it, it's done. The exhaust tip, I wanted to show this off. What do you think? I did call this thing, what is this, the Hot Rod Golf Cart. We got the custom steering wheel for a touch to try to change this up. We got a whole custom front end. But when it comes to exhaust, since we're working on the motor and rear end, I think this isn't bad. It's what you hear is the muffler actually springing back and hitting the inside of the frame. But I came right there, pushed the I don't know, hopefully you can see it well, pushed all the fiberglass in with my finger. I believe it's fiberglass, some kind of matting. Pushed it all the way in and started welding. Now I've got a couple tacks, put a couple tacks here and a couple on top for now. Once I pull the exhaust to do any finish welding, after I'm done mocking up everything, usually once it's all mocked up and I know it's done, I'll break it down and finish up little stuff, usually off camera so I'm not wasting your time. Unless you like me to aimlessly ramble on and just weld, gives me something to do. But anyway, get back on subject. I thought that was kind of cool. It's definitely different. After 10 or more years, and something the junkyard I think only charged me $2 for, I finally got a use out of it. Look, it is kind of kicking out, kind of an angle, but looking at it, I'm like, hey, it looks cooler than just being not used altogether. I mean, hell. Good thing about the exhaust, it exits out perfectly. Starts out on this side of the vehicle, gets transferred, ends up on that side. Leaves me all this stuff open. I want to rig up some kind of trailer hitch. I had one, and we were just talking about this the other day. Somebody swiped it from me. I'm very disappointed in somebody who would be around me and become a thief. Because if they'd have asked me, I would have gave it to them. But don't, come by and steal anyway. There was originally like a thick, probably 1/4-inch plate that went across. I believe, if I'm trying to remember exactly how it went, it either followed this contour, or no, I remember what it was. It was a 1/4-inch like slab that went across. That it went across from here. Looked like it had been cut off, and it was had maybe, it was thick, about a 1/2-inch tongue that came out to about right here, and it had a hole for the trailer ball to hook up. It's kind of sad that somebody stole it, but since me being me, what I'm going to do is kind of redo the whole mount system. Since I have a bracket here, and it looks like the bottom of this bracket is the bottom of this would be the same height as this. So what I'm thinking is just go ahead and say in the hell with it. Run some kind of bar that whatever I can get to fit all the way across. It'll be bolted at 4 points. Then I'll do the same thing, have like a heavy duty tongue coming off. Or maybe even maybe I don't know, something runs in between, making a trailer hitch something out of box tubing. Still to be figured out. I know in the back, if I go through with my plans, I'm going to take this off, a little plastic guard, and what I'm going to do is actually use that as a pattern and get some thin aluminum diamond plate and cut it out to match. I think that would look cool on the new, whatever color I repaint this body. We'll put some aluminum diamond plate right here, and if you can kind of see the design, thinking I'll try to maybe draw or trace this pattern. We'll make some diamond plate pieces for there. Got to kind of set it off. It's not only about functionality, you got to make it look cool. I've had this golf cart now for a while and I've barely played with it, but I think with these mods that we're doing on here, I think it will turn out decently. That's what I'm hoping. Well, guys, I'm going to let y'all run till the next clip. Thank you. Wasn't even that long after I've cut the camera off. Kind of come up with a crazy idea. This is what I hate about my random mind, is sometimes I'll stick to game plan and I'll work on what I'm supposed to be doing, which was drivetrain and exhaust. From there, go back to the axle. I was not worried about anything else, and my randomness is, I guess y'all must love it to stay watching and tuning in. This is about randomness. I've saved these from when I was building a toy hauler trailer. My buddy gave me some big, large boat trailer fenders, and they were rotted, but these were on top. It's aluminum. You can see oxidation on the backside and rust from the original steel that was against it. Actually, it's oxidation or some kind of corrosion. But anyway, what my idea was, since I've got 6 pre-drilled holes already, and I was just looking at this. We got this, there would have been something mounted here, which I'm guessing might have been a controller of some sort, something. There's another hole here. And this would have been the forward and reverse selector. Randomness told me, why don't I just cover the entire thing with this, bolt it up, I'll polish it, maybe bolt it up right here. Covers everything, and any new holes I put in will be my own. It shouldn't bother anything else. So what I'm thinking, if you like this idea, hey, reach down and hit me a thumbs up. Let me know that you actually do like this idea, guys. I'd really appreciate that. Kind of lets me know if some of my random ideas might work. So since my back is killing me and I really don't want to work in the shop tonight anymore, I've been in and out of here for all day. But something tells me I'm not leaving just yet. I think I'm going to pull up a little stool and see if I can find something in here that would start cleaning this. Just got home from work. Ended up, for some reason, I just threw this piece of diamond plate up on the bench, and you just seen it like a clip ago how nasty it looked. So I got thinking, what's the fastest way I can knock down some of this oxidation and corrosion? I'm not going for mirror shine. I'm not that kind of person. Not on this project, but I do want it looking nicer. I mean, if I can reuse this, why not go for it? And if you see what I got here, I did a little right around the halfway mark. I did a little over. I've got this side, I'm not going to say it's like a mirror shine, but it's a lot better. Where on the other end, this is exactly how the whole piece looked. Get you in a little closer, you can kind of see a little oxidation, a little bit of everything. Go over the clamp. Kind of see at the halfway point, kind of the light's not going to be blocked by the camera. And bringing you in over here, this is the left half. Now this oxidation, I'm trying like hell to get it out. What I did this half with so far, just use this what looks like a brass bristle brush. Not sure if that's just colored steel wire. But I just went over this. I went over it kind of at an angle to the left, and I went to the right at an angle. Just made 2 quick passes, one each direction, and this is what I got so far. So then right about here, there's a little area. I just barely done it with some double-aught steel wool. So what I think if I go with the big one, use my big brush to knock it down, it's going to leave little scratches. But if I just barely hit it with this, I'm thinking this should help take out some of those scratches. And maybe I've been trying to find a use for this $3.98 like buffing pad thing, which I might have used it one time and for a second and quit. But what I'm going to try is Mother's Magen aluminum polish. I watched several videos on polishing aluminum. I looked through a lot of forums, car forums, and everybody had their own method, from spilling Coke to Mountain Dew on it to using the double-aught steel wool with the Mother's. So I'm not sure what to exactly believe anymore, but I think if I could just get it cleaned up, something like this, or maybe a little bit better, I'm satisfied for this project. At least this thing will become usable. Well, I'm trying to think the next thing. Why don't I just set y'all down, and I'm going to figure out, I'm going to play around with this half, then when I get it some kind of technique that works, then I'll go ahead and finish the other half.